What up, guys, and welcome to the web's first must-see comic and nerd culture show. Welcome to the Comic Universe. I'm Dr. J, and it's time we talk about the fastest man alive. That's right, folks. The Flash Season 4 wrapped up this past Tuesday, and it's time to talk about the season finale and some overall speculation for Season 5. So, before we get started here, I want to give you guys a fair warning. If you have not caught up on the Flash Season 4, obviously there will be spoilers up to this point because I will be discussing everything all the way up to the finale, but obviously not everything because that would be like an hour and a half long video, like talking about every single episode. And I'm just going to kind of mainly focus on what happened in the finale and give you guys some quick summaries on small plot points in case you need to know stuff. And then I'm going to focus mainly on speculation for Season 5. But alright, let's get right into it. So, I thought this finale was solid, but overall, this season is very, very mixed. There's a lot of uneven tone problems with The Flash Season 4, because The Flash Season 3, we all can agree, was pretty terrible, with Savitar and all that unnecessary, super dark, tone shift that they put the Flash through, when we all know the Flash to be the more lighter of the main Arrowverse shows, at least before Legends came around. But now with Season 4, they were trying to kind of return to that lightness. So they were trying to up the comedy a lot more, and I don't know, it felt really weird and really forced, especially some of the stuff with like the therapy and the early Ralph stuff. And that's right, folks. In this season, we get introduced to Ralph Dibny, the Plastic Man. I almost said the Plastic Man, but Ralph Dibny, the Elongated Man, who acts a lot more like Plastic Man because he has more of the shady past, and he has the jokester personality of Plastic Man more so than Elongated Man. But I guess maybe Plastic Man has something else going on, so they couldn't use Plastic Man. But anyway, Hartley Sawyer, I feel like, did a really good job as Elongated Man, as Ralph Dibny. He really grew on me as the season went on, and definitely he plays a big part in the finale. Of course, another big part of this season is Iris and Barry's marriage. The early part of Iris and Barry's marriage and how they're dealing with that. And honestly, I really like their relationship. Iris is a great character. I really like that Iris has come into her own. I do like her as the quote unquote leader of Team Flash. Running operations at Star Labs. But thank God they are actually starting to come back to her original role as a reporter, because this is where she needs to be. I understand they want more scenes with Iris directly involved with the team, but personally I like her being our eyes and ears on the ground, connecting Team Flash to the outside world and giving the outside world a perspective on the Flash that no one gets to see. And I'm glad they're bringing that back, even though the episode that started to bring that back in was one of the worst episodes of the season, and in my opinion, the series. I really don't like the Run Iris Run episode. Fight me, Iris fans. Fight me. But, yeah. Overall, Iris did a great job as a character. And I really like where they left her off this season. Now, Caitlin. Caitlin is one of my favorite and most underused characters. They finally figure out a cool way to handle, no pun intended, I swear, Caitlin's character with the whole Killer Frost persona, and they start to get along more, and they're bonding, and they have this really fun dynamic. At first it's like Hulk and Banner, but now they're actually starting to be amicable and get along, but then the Thinker takes it away. Now in the finale, we get hints at, of course, towards the end of the season, we got hints that Katie had the Killer Frost persona ever since she was a child, so there's definitely something deeper there. And during Cecile's kind of little mental crossover possession thing in the season finale, we hear her mention something about a guy named Thomas. So whatever happened with Thomas is definitely set up for Caitlin's next story for next season. So either we're going to see Thomas again, or we're going to see what exactly happened to Thomas, and maybe Thomas was Killer Frost's first victim, and that caused Caitlin's, super scientist mom to create something to suppress Killer Frost, and then the particle accelerator happened, and the dark matter, negated those safety protocols, but now that the dark matter is gone, the safeties are reactivated. And I cannot take credit for this theory. This theory was actually, proposed to me by my good friend Brian Kersey. So, good thinking there, Brian. We're moving on to Cisco. Cisco, honestly, the side character, that's one of my other complaints about this season, is the side characters don't get to do that much this season. And Cisco didn't really get to do much besides his relationship stuff with Gypsy. And then they realized, of course, long distance relationships on across different Earths and dimensions just doesn't work. And so Cisco and Gypsy are broken up. And then now Cisco is kind of beaten up about not being able to restore Harry's full intelligence. But Harry himself is glad that he is finally going to be defined for something other than his IQ, and he can use his newfound emotional intelligence to be a dad. And I think that was the perfect way to send off Harry's character for this season. Now, let's talk about Barry. So, Barry, for the most part, I have enjoyed Barry. Mostly because Barry has not fucked with the timeline this season. We'll get to fucking with the timeline, because there is still fucking with the timeline towards the end. But Barry has not fucked with the timeline this season. He's kind of shown his growth as a character, especially as being a mentor to Ralph. I really like that development. Even in like the prison episode really shows his leadership skills and his way with people, and way to inspire hope within people, which is a big thing for Barry, because Barry is kind of the Superman equivalent in the Arrowverse, kind of that beacon of hope. So that's really cool. I enjoyed that a lot. And again, he's grown a lot as a character, and plus he gets to do a lot more cool shit now that he's been more directly exposed to the Speed Force, since he was trapped in there for a while. Like the flash time effect is really cool. I love that power. I thought that was pretty awesome. But overall, yeah, Barry's pretty solid. I like the direction he's going. He didn't make me facepalm in anger or embarrassment. Most of that had to do with the Iris episode, and that wasn't Barry's fault. So, yeah, there's that. Now we're going to talk about the Thinker and the Mechanic. These two villains that were kind of meant as a dark parallel to Iris and Barry's relationship. So, what did I think about Clifford DeVoe, the Thinker? First of all, thank the heavens this was not another speedster villain. I thought that was a welcome change of pace. You can only repeat the same thing over and over again before you get freaking tired of it. So I was so glad that the Thinker, was our new villain. And it was a more mental villain. We got to see Barry use his brain more, especially in the Enter Flash Time episode. And it was more of a mental battle and trying to strategize and figure out different plans to defeat DeVoe. But this one, you really feel the stakes because your backs are against the wall, because nothing they do seems to work. But then when Clifford DeVoe eventually loses all of his humanity and he just becomes this cold, heartless monster, his wife sees the error of her ways and helps Team Flash win the day. I really enjoyed Clifford DeVoe when he was played by Neil Sandilands, the actor who plays him in the beginning. And in the end, when Clifford DeVoe takes over Ralph's body and shapeshifts back into his original form. However, my problem with Clifford DeVoe this season was mainly the fact that he, in the middle of the season, he had to constantly body switch, so you never got a good feel of the different, personalities of these altered Cliffords, like when Clifford possessed Dominic, when Clifford possessed, Folding Man, when he possessed Becky Sharp, when he possessed, what's her name, Izzy. You didn't really get a good feel for these different personalities or bodies, that Clifford possessed. So it felt kind of inconsistent in that regard, but overall I really did enjoy Clifford DeVoe as a villain. And the final battle where Ralph and Barry finally, full circle, they put their teachings, they put everything they've taught each other to good use. They do an awesome combo, and they help Ralph get control of his body back, and they end up defeating Clifford DeVoe. However, this leads to a the big climactic scene where, just because DeVoe is defeated, defeating DeVoe triggers the destruction of the satellites, and now his Enlightenment satellites are falling, hurtling towards the Earth. Cisco and Ralph help clear and evacuate the city, while Barry goes to destroy the satellite. However, Marlize, the mechanic, warns against Barry, punching the satellite to destroy it, because that punch will most likely destroy him. Now, right when he does it, right on impact, we see like the time rewind effect happen, and that's when Mystery Girl shows up, and she helps Barry punch the satellite, destroying it. And then at the end of the episode, after Cecile and Joe give birth to their baby, and they're having the baby welcome home party, you have Mystery Girl show up and reveal herself to be Nora Allen, the future daughter of Iris and Barry, which we all pretty much called. We just said the wrong name because we assumed they were going to go with the comics and name her Dawn Allen. But I like Nora even better because of, of course, Barry's mother. So I thought that was really cool. And she's wearing Iris's jacket from Iris's short time as a speedster. Also cool. I liked the costume. I just didn't like the episode. And I think she has a really fun personality, and it reminds me a lot of Bart Allen Impulse. So if you're a Young Justice fan from the comics or TV show, definitely, I think she's going to be a great character moving forward. And it seems like she's going to be a main cast member this season. But she mentions, guys, I've made a big mistake. And I believe that big mistake is saving Barry Allen. So this is my big speculation before I end the video. Season 5 is going to be mostly about the repercussions of, I almost called her Dawn, Nora's mistake. And I think it was saving Barry. Because in the comics, Barry died in Crisis on Infinite Earths. And so, while Iris was pregnant. And so, Dawn and Dawn, her brother, never got to meet Barry, because, he died before they were born. In this case, I think it's slightly different. I think Iris was pregnant before the final battle with Thinker and just didn't know it yet, very similar to how Iris was pregnant in Young Justice and didn't know it until Bart showed up, and she was like, I was going to tell you, I just took a test, like a couple minutes ago, and yeah, so I think that's going to happen. So I think Iris was pregnant before the Battle of the Thinker, and she didn't even know it yet, and Barry was supposed to die there, saving the people from the Thinker satellites, and Dawn, and I almost called her Dawn again, crap, Nora never got to meet her dad. And so that explains why at the wedding she's super nervous and super excited, especially when she meets Barry, because she has never met her dad before, and she's only heard stories from her mom. And you can tell by the way she talks about Iris in, in the final scene, towards the end of the episode, when she says, you let me borrow your jacket and things like that, that they're very close, that Iris is the main one that raised her. But she has kind of this distant look when she talks about Barry. So I definitely think Barry died here. And I think it's really interesting because it parallels what Barry did at the end of season 2. At the end of season, what Barry did in season 2 with saving his mother. Dang it, I keep trying to call her Dawn. Nora did what Barry did, but instead of saving his mom, she saved her dad from dying. And so that's going to have huge repercussions, because we know it does. It's time travel. So that's going to be pretty intense. We also know that, a lot of people are speculating that the big bad of next season is going to be Cicada and his, cult. I think he's gonna be like a life force energy vampire. That's the common fan speculation. I think that could be really cool. I'm glad it's a non-speedster villain. and maybe it's a little bit more towards the magical side, because it seems like we're leaning a lot towards magical side. Hopefully, Flash will do it better than Arrow did. But overall, I'm just really interested to see what happens next. And I think Iris, there is a lot of evidence to say that Iris was pregnant, and didn't even know it, because when Barry was trapped in the Speed Force, he came out and he was spewing all these different lines that we heard all throughout the season, and eventually we do hear "This house is bitchin'" said by Nora Allen, and then the only line we haven't heard yet said by another character is, "We're gonna need more diapers." If they already have diapers for baby Jenna, Joe and Cecile's baby, but then we find out Iris is pregnant also, we're gonna need more diapers. So there you go. So that's going to lead to some interesting stuff. I can't wait to see what kind of character Nora is. I think she feels a lot like Bart Allen, and that makes me super excited. And I can't wait to see what happens next going forward with The Flash. This was a very uneven, very mixed season, but overall I still enjoyed it. It's still a really good show, in my opinion. I enjoy it a lot. But let me know all your thoughts, theories, and feels about The Flash Season 4 and going forward in Season 5 in the comments down below. As always, don't forget to leave this video a like to let me know you enjoyed it. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you get notified every time the universe gets a little bigger by updating you with a new video. So, be sure to subscribe. And if you like what I do here over in the universe, come check out my own personal channel, Mr. J's Reviews. I review all the DC TV shows, episode by episode, as well as a bunch of other great shows, anime, manga, video games, you name it, choose your fandom. I cover it over there on my main channel as well. So please, I would really appreciate the support. I will leave it linked in the outro card. Just click my channel icon, and you can subscribe to my channel. I will also leave linked in the outro card my review of the Krypton Season 1 finale. If you want to check that out, Krypton's an amazing show. More of you guys should definitely go watch it. It's great. If you're a Superman fan, if you're a sci-fi fan, highly recommend it. But that's pretty much it for this review, you guys. This has been Dr. J for the Comic Universe. And like I always say, once a comic geek, always a comic geek. I'll see you next time in the universe, and I'll be back in a flash. Peace.